Welcome all to the course on gender justice and workplace security. In the last lecture, we started our discussion on women being a part of the workforce and how these women are subjected to different types of biased and discriminatory practices within the workplace. We have seen that there are different types of laws which have been enacted to ensure the protection of women, and one specific behavior or aspect which has drawn attention in recent times is with regard to sexual harassment. So, while we try to understand sexual harassment and the types of sexual harassment, in India sexual harassment is also an act which is prohibited. It is against the constitutional norms which are laid down, as well as these are punishable and criminal acts as laid down in the Indian Penal Code. So, when we speak of the concept of sexual harassment or the act of sexual harassment, it definitely constitutes a violation of the right to equality, life with dignity under Article 14, 15 and 21 of the Indian Constitution. Such sexual harassment can also constitute criminal offences under sections 354 and section 509 of the Indian Penal Code 1860, which speaks of outraging the modesty of a woman and obscenity, and by virtue of the latest Criminal Law Amendment Act 2013, sexual harassment, the term or the offence of sexual harassment has specifically been laid down in section 354A Indian Penal Code 1860. So, therefore, sexual harassment is an act which stands in violation of the constitutional guarantees which are there specifically with regard to women, and it constitutes criminal offences under the law of the land. However, the issue of sexual harassment which we are speaking of now first made its way into the legal domain expressly within the contours of the concept of sexual harassment by way of the Vishaka judgment or the Vishaka case of 1997. Now, why I say first made its way is many of the sections which we referred to previously of section 354, 509 of the Indian Penal Code have been in existence previously as well, but they were in a different name and in a different color, which are capable of taking within it the notion of sexual harassment. However, the term specifically and in its reference to workplace in the Indian context came up in the Vishaka versus State of Rajasthan case, and in this case what happened was the NGO which approached the Supreme Court, the apex court, and drew the attention of the court to the dangers and concerns of women who are working, that they can be specifically made to suffer because they are working or in a particular job, and therefore, they become very vulnerable in certain situations, and the country lacks any particular type of law which protects the woman within the workplace. And that is where the Supreme Court recognized the problem of sexual harassment, and it held that sexual harassment at workplace is definitely a violation of women's right to life, right to equal treatment, and it is therefore violative of Article 14, 15, Article 21 of the Indian Constitution. Doing so, the apex court laid down detailed guidelines to ensure a secure and comfortable work environment and on the one hand, and eliminate situations of abuse on the other. Now, it laid down guidelines whereby it prescribed certain duties on the employers of organizations to have a mechanism in place whereby any instances of sexual harassment within the organization can be reported and effective actions taken within the organization itself to ensure that such practices are eliminated, as well as to take appropriate penal action against the offenders who are there. Now, this was for the first time where the court laid down a guideline prohibiting a certain act and requiring employers to abide by certain conditions so as to establish a mechanism to take care of complaints of harassment which are leveled against women within the workplace. Now, such directions of the Supreme Court became the law of the land, and that became the first governing law in the country whereby all organizations were required to establish certain institutions, within the or committees within the organization, and ensure that effective steps are taken to restrict harassment at the workplace. Now, so that was an obligation by virtue of the Apex Court decision, which led to numerous institutions and organizations in the country setting up grievance redressal cells and giving out appropriate remedies to the complainant, appropriate penal actions, and there were several cases thereafter, specifically Apparel Export Promotion Council versus AK Chopra, Shehnaz versus Saudi Arabian Airlines, etc., which have come over the years, all dealing with issues of sexual harassment, and the court sternly laid down various guidelines and parameters with regard to the protection of women at the workplace. Dr. Medha Kotwal versus Union of India, there was a 2004 decision as well as a 2013 decision which issued guidelines to the states to immediately set up adequate number of complaint committees at taluka, district and state levels, and it directed the change of civil service conduct rules for ensuring that complaints committee shall be deemed to be disciplinary committees, and they can take adequate disciplinary action under the said rules. So, therefore, since Vishaka, various organizations were mandated and various instances of such violations or challenging the actions taken of such committees came up before the courts, where the courts tried to uphold the rights of the women, protect the issues and concerns of the women. However, there was also the criticism that many organizations did not adhere to the 1997 guideline and did not establish the necessary grievance mechanism which was directed by the court. Now, it was only in 2013 that the first law of the country, till then it was the Vishaka guidelines, and that is why I do not go into details with the guidelines, but we will try to discuss the provisions of the laws, the law which is in force presently in the country, that is the Sexual Harassment at Workplace Prevention, Protection and Redressal Act of 2013. Now, the act therefore supersedes the Vishaka guidelines which had been laid down by the Supreme Court. Now, this act received the presidential assent on 23rd April 2013 and has come into force from 9th December 2013 onwards. Now, before we move to the sexual harassment at workplace meaning, the preamble to the act lays down that this is an act to provide protection against sexual harassment of women at workplace. The other object is the prevention as well as redressal complaints of sexual harassment. It says that sexual harassment results in violation of the fundamental rights of women to equality under Article 14 and 15 and her right to life with dignity under Article 21 and her right to practice any profession or carry on any occupation under Article 19, and such right includes the right to a safe environment free from sexual harassment. And because protection against sexual harassment and the right to work against dignity with human dignity are universally recognized human rights by international conventions and instruments, one which we have referred before, the CEDAW of 1979, and therefore the state enacts this act to take care of the issues of prevention, protection and redressal of sexual harassment at workplace. Now, the act goes on to define the term sexual harassment in section 2N of the act, and it says that sexual harassment includes any one or more of the following unwelcome acts or behavior, whether directly or implication. There are certain clauses thereafter which elaborates that. So, one is the act is unwelcome and it is of the nature of this: 1. Physical contact and advances, 2. A demand or request for sexual favors, 3. Making sexually colored remarks, 4. Showing pornography, and the 5th is a broad one: any other unwelcome physical, verbal or non-verbal conduct of sexual nature. So, sexual harassment does not really require a physical act on the part of a person as physically touching or physically groping a person. It can be any other form of behavior. It may be verbal or even it may be non-verbal in nature, but there is a sexual content in the expression, in the attitude, in the behavior, in the words spoken of the harasser, and this sexual content is something which is unwelcome to the woman. So, if it is a case of a physical contact, then it is something, a contact or an advance which the woman it is unwelcome to the woman and it's injurious to the woman, or it may be a demand for sexual favors. If you do this, then you will be promoted, then you will get an educational advancement, or even making remarks which somewhere has a implicit sexual content, even showing pornography, all comes within the definition of the term sexual harassment as laid down in the Act of 2013. Additionally, section 3 further lays down that in addition to the definition, if there are any of the circumstances which are therein, like promise of preferential treatment, threat of detrimental treatment, threat about present or future employment, interference with her work, an intimidating or offensive or hostile work environment, a humiliating treatment, in all such cases, this would also qualify the term sexual harassment. However, we must understand that these circumstances must be read in conjunction with the definition of sexual harassment. So, if it is a physical contact or an advance with promise of preferential treatment, detrimental treatment, threat, etc., then it can be read as a aspect of or a act of sexual harassment. But a mere humiliating treatment which does not have any link with words spoken or behavior shown which has a sexual content, etc., then it may not qualify for a definition of sexual harassment. Now, for that purpose, what amounts to or what does not amount to, it is a very subjective matter. It has to be seen in light of individual facts and circumstances as to the behavior meted out, as to the words spoken or the gestures made, in a subjective way it has to be understood that whether it comprises an act of sexual harassment or not. Now, and there it is important to consider the complainant's perspective, the woman's perspective, and that is what we said previously. The impact on the woman is more important than what is the intention of the man. Sometimes there are many types of manly behavior which may be there, and they may view or not view certain behavior as being bad or as being sexual. That is immaterial. Whether with regard to the woman concerned, whether that act is objectionable, that act is harmful, that is what is important to consider, whether it would come within the term sexual harassment. Now, here when we are speaking of sexual harassment, it basically the protection is given to women as regards the workplace. Now, the workplace has been defined in section 2(o) of the Act, and it goes on to include all offices, institutions in public or private sector, including educational institutions. And when we say all offices, institutions or private, so this is somewhere explanatory. Government offices, companies, NGOs, port facilities, agricultural farms, hospitals, etc., cooperative societies, houses. Now, what is important is it is not only the organized sector, but also the unorganized sector which has been taken care of by the Act. So, it is not only the organized sector in terms of public institutions, etc., where women are working who would get the protection, but even in the unorganized sector, specifically speaking of maybe houses or maybe construction sites, etc., the women working there are also entitled to protection under the law. And therefore, who can make a complaint with regard to sexual harassment? Now, what we understand here, that this is a gender specific legislation. It aims to give protection to women at the workplace. So, it is, as many times questions are asked, that is it gender neutral or is it gender specific? This legislation makes it very clear that it is the prevention, protection and redressal of complaints with regard to women. So, the one who is protected is the women, or one who can make a complaint is the woman. Does it mean that there are no situations of sexual harassment against man? That is nowhere being contended. There have been instances, however, the numbers are quite low. There have been instances of harassment or abuse within the workplace of men by maybe a female boss or any other man. However, there may be many other general laws which may be invoked in such situation, but the 2013 Act is specifically for the protection of women, because if generally seen in numbers, the numbers affecting women are much larger than it concerns the other sex for that matter. So, therefore, who can make a complaint? The Act uses the term aggrieved woman. Now, who can be such woman? The woman may be of any age, whether employed or not, who alleges to have been subjected to any such act of sexual harassment. So, one who believes that she has been subjected to sexual harassment, such woman would be termed as a aggrieved woman, and such aggrieved woman can bring a cause of action, and it includes all categories of people or women: regular workers, temporary workers, ad hoc workers, daily wage earners, contractual workers. Even it is inclusive of probationers, trainees, interns, apprentices and students, and that is the significance of the word employed or not. They are in a workplace, but they cannot, legally speaking, may be said to be employed for that matter, but even the protection extends to such a person. And it would be further important to note that, as we said, that it covers also the unorganized sector. Even domestic workers are covered within the contours of the definition. So, those workers whom we see as working within the homes, they can also seek necessary protection under this act. Now, instead of going to the different sections one by one, what is very important to understand is how to make use of this act and what is to be done for implementing the act. So, we will see two perspectives. One is the victim's perspective and one is from the perspective of the complaints committee which has been laid down. Now, victim's perspective, this act tends to protect the rights of women, and when we refer to the victims, we are basically referring to the cause of these women. Now, what happens is, even though the woman may be grown up, may be educated enough, many times in the backdrop of such harassment or humiliating treatment, one, they feel shy, they feel very difficult to really speak up and reveal to others what has taken place, to protest against such humiliation, etc. So, what is very, very important in order to implement the act is to speak out. As soon as an act of harassment takes place which you perceive to be, or which the victim believes is a case, may be a case, you need not be sure, but you think that would be a case of sexual harassment, it is important that the victim immediately speaks out. The victim must hold the harasser responsible for his action, and that the victim can do by approaching the appropriate body for appropriate remedies. Now, one must understand that one has a right to be there, has a right to work and continue with the work, and the person also has a right to preclude anybody who intends to interfere with that right. So, once that is there, then the person must understand that if somebody is trying to interfere with the act by way of one or the other humiliating or demeaning treatment, if it is from an employer, if it is from other employees, then the person must immediately object to that. So, report the harassment immediately to the internal complaints committee. What is very, very important, specifically in a conservative society as in India, tradition bound society, that there is no shame in being a victim. The shame is of the harasser, not of the victim. So, that is very, very important, that one has been subjected to sexual harassment has nothing to do with the person, with the character of the person or anything, and that person has every right to move to the appropriate body to ensure that her rights are maintained and her rights are established before the law. So, therefore, this law tries to empower the women to ensure that she gets her right. Now, in proceeding with the case, what is very important is, first she must initiate necessary action. Now, this action has to be initiated within 3 months of the complaint. So, that is what is the importance of the fact that immediate reporting, as soon as there is an instance of harassment, immediately there should be a reporting of the matter, and the act lays down that it should be within 3 months of the act of harassment that the reporting must be made. However, the committee is under liberty to, on reasonable grounds and reasonable reasons, to excuse any sort of a delay which might have taken place in the reporting of the matter to the internal complaints committee. The victim must give the complaint in writing. In the writing, it is very important to clearly enumerate what are the actions of the harasser and what were the actions which she found objectionable, because of which she wants to institute the case of sexual harassment. It may be as detailed as possible. Irrelevant details may be ruled out, but those which are relevant must be laid down and enumerated clearly. Many times women, out of shame, out of some or the other feelings, tries to hide certain facts, not reveal certain facts, which can be detrimental for the case itself. So, therefore, initiating an inquiry as soon as possible is one of the important aspects which is there. The next thing which is important is she can ask for interim measures. So, in this interim measures, she can ask for certain her leave, that she may be allowed to be on leave because she does not want to continue during the continuance of the inquiry in that atmosphere. She may ask for necessary action to be taken against the harasser, whereby the direct influence or control of the harasser on her can be substantially reduced. So, interim measures she can insist on, and she must ensure that she must cooperate during the continuance of the inquiry, and she must seek appropriate remedies to ensure that effective action or appropriate action is taken against the violator or the harasser. Now, in the case, what is very important is defend your case. Now, this is a situation where every person, whoever is bringing an allegation, must be the person who is able to establish the facts. Now, such establishment of facts is through what we call in law as evidence. So, one is defending the case, and in defending the case, the person must ensure that all necessary witnesses and documents are produced or submitted to the complaints committee which has been established or to whom the complaint has been made. It is the responsibility of the complainant to see that all those persons who have information about it are, their names are given, they are called, all such documents which might go on to reveal such sexual harassment in writing are brought before the committee. Because remember, you have to defend your case, you need to be consistent. Any sort of exaggeration, any sort of hesitation, etc., will only weaken your point. So, it is very, very important for the complainant and the woman to stand up for her rights and to establish it in a very structured and clear manner. Ask for privacy and confidentiality. That is one of your basic rights. It is very, very important that the names and other details of the woman are withheld or suppressed, because many times she may be subjected to further harassment or further humiliation on the ground of her making a complaint. She may be subjected to further jeers or jokes of the other colleagues in the organization, and therefore, you must insist on privacy and confidentiality. Ask for necessary protection. So, that is the interim measures we were talking of, that leave, transfer of the harasser. Now, in case of educational institutes, what has been clearly laid down is the harasser may be debarred from all activities involving the complainant. So, sometimes it may be a situation that the harasser is the supervisor or the harasser is a member of such committee which may take some actions, academic actions against the person. During the continuance, she has to be given complete protection, and it is the responsibility of the committee as well as of the employer that she is not put to any difficult situation. And what is very, very important is to seek remedies. You must be able to seek appropriate remedies. Does not mean that you can insist on a particular remedy to be given, but your action is, resultant action is effective remedies against you. So, it should secure your protection as well as it should ensure that effective action against has been taken against the other party. Now, that is up to the committee as to what type of remedy it can give. It can range from minor to major remedies, but what is important is the law specifically, the act specifically speaks of compensation being paid to the woman. So, she can insist on compensation in terms of grounds such as mental trauma, emotional distress, loss of career opportunity, medical or other expenses which she has gone through. So, therefore, this is how the victim has to approach the internal complaints committee in case she suspects a case of sexual harassment, report the matter, report at the earliest and initiate action against the the harasser, support her case with necessary documents and other evidences which may be there, ask for her privacy, ask for interim measures and get necessary relief and remedies in the process, including that of compensation.